Welcome back to another review of me, Kevin, from Kevin Grant on Whisky. This week we're going for something different again, something racked my brain that I really wanted to try and learn a little bit about and see how it takes us forward. So this week it's going to be about, do we buy with our eyes? You go into a shop, are you looking for a nice looking bottle? Are you looking for colour? Are you looking for a nice bold box? Like, what do we look for? So my question to you is, I have two whiskies here. What are you going to buy? Both are single malts, both are Highland. But what would you buy if you seen these at first sight? What's going in the basket, or what are you taking home with you? So you've got this dark, rich colour, quite red, kind of like red cola to an extent, and you've got a really light, what you would suspect from a bourbon cask matured whiskey. So, first thing you see, what do you think is going to have more flavour in it? What's going to be packing all that flavour? You look at something nice and light, you expect bourbon flavours, those vanillas, kind of toffees and fudgies. You see something nice and dark, you expect cherries, raisins, sultanas, brown sugars, and all these other things, which make it really, it can make it more complex. Bourbon cask matured can just be straight down the middle, nice and easy. The only thing I've not told you is what the whiskey actually is, or what these are. So I'm going to let you know what they are just now, because it's going to be quite hard just to look through a camera and go, this is what this is, and this is what that is. But it's a Highland, it's non-age statement, it's 40% ABV, and I don't really know much more I can say, because if I say more, it's going to give it away. So I'm just going to show you what this is. So this is a Deanston Kentucky cask matured, which was exclusive for Morrison's supermarket in the UK. Soft chill filtration, first fill and second fill bourbon only has been used. It's 40% ABV. Deanston that we're not used to seeing, so it's always 46.3%. Distill, do a great job with Deanston, so they've always got their Deanston, the Bunnahabhain, Letchik and Tobermory. They do black bottle as well as their blend. So they went into the supermarket, I think, trying to hit a different crowd. I picked this up, I think, for 30 quid. Just maybe when it launched last year. So this one here, obviously, if you look at the colour, is the Deanston Kentucky cask matured. Nice and light on the nose. The typical slightly maltiness, honeyed, very lemony, very light. And this one here is also Deanston Kentucky cask matured. Why, I hear you ask? How can it be? So what had been playing in my mind was, how much does colouring affect whiskey? Do we buy whiskey which is darker because we believe it's going to be tastier, it's going to have more flavour to it and all these other things? So what I went out and done is I ordered myself some caramel colouring, E150A colouring, and I've added the tiniest drop of colour into this whiskey. If I had a blindfold on and I smelt both of these blind, I wouldn't know what they are. But if I seen a colour in it, I would obviously be going, the other one can't be Deanston, it can't be the same thing, because I've never seen a Deanston this dark either. But when you smell them side by side, I think because I can see this, I know there's something tricking my brain to say this has definitely got something different in it. There is the tiniest smell difference, but nothing which makes you say these are completely different. This is both the same whiskey. I literally used the tiniest bit on a toothpick, put it in and gave it a stir. So for me, I think I've been caught out before looking at whiskey and thinking that's really dark, I need to buy that, without looking at label. And then sometimes you don't see the words non-added colour or natural colour, which I like to see on whiskey. So this has been made by me to this colour. I couldn't tell you how many grams or anything it's in there, but it's a tiny amount. But if we actually try the whiskies and see what the difference is. So as we say, this is 40% ABV, a Highland single malt, Deanston, which isn't too far from Stirling. It's the closest distillery to Stirling, until Wolf Craig, which is going to be coming alive by White and Mackay. So Dalmore, you kind of look at this colour, so something we might suspect from them once they're up and running. But as I say, on the nose, it's quite light. There's no alcohol hit to it. It's kind of powdered sugar, the kind of malty note to it. It's an easy sipper. That honey, malt, powdered sugar, and that's from the first fill and the second fill bourbon. So let's try it, see if I can get a difference. I've actually not tried this yet when I put the colour in, so we'll see if there's a palate change. Slange you, folks. It's really nice in the palate. 40% ABV, it disappears quite quickly, but those really sweet notes stick around. I do get more powdered sugar, that kind of maybe icing, you know, wet icing, if you just icing sugar that you've stirred and you take a wee bit off the spoon. It's quite sweet like that. There is that like hay note to it, quite grassy. It's enjoyable as an easy sipper. I've got through this bottle pretty quickly because it's a good palate cleanser, I like to call it. So just before you start a whiskey flight, wee palate cleanser, take a wee Deanston Kentucky cask, just because it's easy sipping. I like that. And Monkey Shoulder's another one, which are very similar, but I think Monkey Shoulder's I like it a little bit more. So let's try now with the colour. You know, I've added colour into this. You can see, let's see, I'm putting them both up together. Crazy for the tiniest amount. There isn't much difference. It's annoying because I can see it and I know what it is. I'd like to do it blind, and excuse me, I might try it later. I've got the blind tasting glasses. I'll get my partner to rustle me some up and I'll try it later. But let's try this one. Smells the same on the nose, maybe the tiniest wee difference. I would say there's slightly more, is a bit more concentrated, because the E158 is very, very concentrated. It's the only thing, so when you look at colouring, E158 is the only thing that Scotch can use. They can't use E150B, C or D. They've all got different, I'm not saying characteristics, can't think of the word. It's the most concentrated it can be, so it always has to be E150A. So a law that they have. I think other countries can use B, C and D. So I think if you were to have a yogurt, for instance, if you were to have something along those lines, you can add E150D, which has got more flavour to it, but the E150A is just more concentrated to colour and not flavour. But the further down you go, you get more flavour from these things. So this is just all about the colour. I've not tried it on its own yet to see what it tastes like. I might actually do that and see, but not a major change on the palate. But whiskey like this, if you've seen a bottle, it's got no label on it, and you see someone tells you this whiskey here is 30 years old, it's been sitting in a sherry cask, there's potential you could believe that from that colour. So when I look at whiskey, I'm always looking for that natural colour. It's just a preference. I know some people like to have whiskey that looks a little bit darker, and things like Dalmore, they always do it. It's consistency. So every time they're putting their batch out of their 12-year-old, it's always the same colour, that same recipe. Even if it comes out the cask lighter, they'll add colour to it to make sure every single year that the bottle looks the same. But then you go to Glenallachie or Aberlour, when they're bringing out their batches of their new stuff, they'll tell you this will change colour because it's a different release, which I like personally. So the whiskey's good. £30, I think it's a bit pricey for what it is. I think you can get better out there potentially for that. You know, sometimes you can pick up the Monkey Shoulder for £20 to £24 if it's on special. So I would maybe get this again if it was on special, but I wouldn't rush back out. I've got other things that I can sip on before I start a whiskey flight. But these two, it's a cool wee thing. You know, if you want to pick up some colouring and try it yourself, the colouring I think I got off Amazon for £2 or £3, and it was just literally to do a little experiment like this. So as we say, while you choose whiskey by colour from seeing it in a shop, or will you sit and read the label to try and see, is there added colour or is it natural colour? For me, as I say, natural colour is my thing. I do like a good bourbon cask matured whiskey, and I also do like a really good sherry cask matured. But these two taste the same. Slight little discrepancy, but I would like to try it blind to see if it can trick me into knowing what they both are. But I know this is just a little bit different. I did have the idea. I have a whiskey there that I've not opened yet, so I will put that out next week and review it just back to normal. But this just took over, and I thought, spur of the moment, I'm going to do it. If my colouring came in time, I'm putting this one out there. So I do hope you have enjoyed this video. A little bit different, wee bit maybe quirky. Personally, I'm not trying to trick anyone, anything like that. I just wanted to show you the effects of what a little bit of colour can do to whiskey. And if you hang on, what I've done is I've actually already made the wee video, so I'm going to add that on it then to show you how much I've put in this glass to make the this colour. And there might be another wee bit at the end for me trying the colouring on its own. But guys, again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks everyone who is subscribed as well. Seen a lot of new subscribers have been popping up, which is absolutely amazing to see. I do hope you enjoy the content. It will be weekly. I'll be bringing things out. If you have anything for me which you'd like me to review, or something you would like me to do, just drop me a little message in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram at Kevin Grant on Whisky, or you can follow me on Twitter at Kevin on Whisky. I'll put the wee links in right at the end. But as always, I've been Kevin from Kevin Grant on Whisky. And join me next week and let's talk whiskey. Slanger folks. What one will I go for? So this is a preparation that you never got to see. And this is how I've done it, just to show you how much or how little colouring can change the colour of whiskey. So as a review that we've done, it's the Deanston Kentucky Cask Matured, which was exclusive for Morrison's. So obviously we've got one. Nice dram, nice and light. Another one, poured the exact same. More or less the same. But the only difference that I've done is grabbed a toothpick. This is just to show you how much it can change. Got my E150 colouring. And I just put a little bit on. This is a glamorous side behind the scenes. There we go. So just a little bit on a toothpick, like so. Put it in a whiskey and just give it a stir. Literally the edge of a toothpick is all I've used. Give it a good stir. Make sure there's no residue at the bottom. Just try and there we have it. A tiny amount of colouring added into a full bourbon cask matured whiskey. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Right, let's try this. It can't be that bad, can it? Fully concentrated caramel colouring. Get it on the toothpick. Come on, out you get. There we go. Just a tiny bit. I don't think we need much to do. Let's try it. Not much to it. I'll actually try a little bit more. Try that. Right, so I'll go with this much this time. Oh, my finger. quite... It's not nice. Not a fan. Hopefully that'll come off my finger. No, not a fan. Don't do it.